air, earth, fire, loyalty. Long ago, the four wives lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Phoenix wife demanded more. Only the patriarch, husband to all four elements, could play fair. But when the OG wives needed him most, he vanished. 18 seasons passed, and we have discovered the new star, an airbender named Christine. And although her cooking spinoff is just okay, she has a lot to live up to before she's ready to save anything. But I believe Christine can save this show.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Angie, this is my husband Tim, and today we are recapping from the dried up drainage ditch.
Coyote Pass. Where on earth else could we have been recapping from? At least Kody isn't trauma dumping on us.
Poor Justin. Just to preface this episode, I have a cough drop in my mouth. I'm not eating candy.
Yeah, Angie's been having some throat stuff, so...
Well, you can't hear my coughing because I edit it out every video, but...
Angie's a trooper. We're recording anyway.
So, let's jump into this episode. Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 18, Money is the root of all evil. And you said this was a missaying of the term, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, it's a bit truncated, but that's just pedantic, really. We all know this is from the Bible.
Our first location is in Flagstaff with Janelle. As we know several episodes ago, Janelle was talking about buying property up in Montana with Maddie and Caleb. Right now, she has a new venture and she wants to announce it to Christine over a Zoom call. Surprise! Her offer on a piece of land in North Carolina has been accepted. She, Maddie, and Caleb are working to start a flower company.
Okay. Any kind of farm is an enormous amount of work, so let's see whether or not Janelle's up for it.
I remember in, was it season 16 or 15, she said she didn't want to walk 10,000 steps. And I thought 165 acres would necessitate walking at least that much.
It's just more about having the space so I don't have to walk 10,000 feet all the time to, the greenhouses or whatever I have. I could be anywhere. I could be close to the road even.
Would you want to have to walk from here to the garden all the time when you're wanting to inspect it?
I don't know if that's where the garden's going to go.
That is where it's going to go.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know. I highly doubt that she's going to get her hands dirty in any of this.
Or maybe she will, but I think maybe Caleb will shoulder a lot of the manual labor.
I mean, maybe. That's a lot of acreage. I can't imagine she's going to be using most of that, let alone all of it. So, who knows?
Janelle was thinking of this sort of venture for a long time. The thought of being a flower farmer just tickled her thoughts. It sounded like the perfect zen. This feat was her original plan for Coyote Pass, to have greenhouses, but clearly that ship has sailed.
so I have always enjoyed gardening. It's very therapeutic for me. But there's a bunch of apples that I need to get before they fall.
Do you think we should be pruning it? All right, I'll go grab the ladder.
So I want to grow produce. Maybe someday I'll have a farm-to-table restaurant. Who knows? I have these big plans, right? Okay, I'll start because I've been pretty vocal. I know that I need a place for greenhouses. I really need lot 4 or 5 because there are no trees. And I intend to have greenhouses, and trees are bad. Trees provide shade, and you don't need shade if you have greenhouses.
As long as you do the gardening as well and can feed me,
Yes.
I am on board
And you
with
guys
that.
can even have room. I mean,
No, I don't want to.
I tease my kids. I'm like, man, I'm going to grow out my hair, let it be all gray, have a tie-dye skirt, and I'm going to just be that witchy woman or something like that. And my kids are like, whatever, Mom. I'm like, you just wait. I mean, I think I've been pretty vocal about that. I want to have greenhouses and how do we agree on that?
I've got, for the sake of the greenhouse and Janelle being near the greenhouse and near the growing area, I was going to have Janelle basically right along that edge there. Janelle has loved gardening all of her life. Her and I have always talked about the idea of greenhouses. She's got to be able to have access to water. She's got to have access to the grow houses. I think we worked that out really easily by basically having those grow houses on her lot.
It reeks to me of I'm going to live in a teepee through the winter only to last less than a single day.
And I already showed that audio clip in a previous episode of her trying to be in her mother's and stepfather's front yard in a teepee, and she didn't last for an afternoon.
I get the impression that Janelle is a bit of a romantic for the great outdoors, but doesn't really have the constitution for it.
That's a cool word. Constitution. The stamina?
I just don't think she has the temperament for an outside lifestyle.
I think maybe she does. She definitely loves the RV life, the fishing life. She definitely loves gardening, but living in the outdoors, just going full on, is very tough.
Yeah, I get the impression that she does enjoy being outside, but this isn't just being outside for short bursts. It is a long-term commitment where you have to do things outside a lot, every day. Sometimes in the cold, and sometimes in the hot and the wet, and I don't know.
We're not trying to put her down. This is just an observation. We're not Janelle haters.
No.
But they're clearly turning a profit from the merchandise sales, so that's good.
Yeah, they're making more money selling t-shirts than they are with the flower business, which we've been saying this for years. That is what they should have been doing. They needed to merchandise.
Snarky t-shirts.
Yes, but they didn't want to do that initially because
Robin thought that they were a high-end boutique.
I mean, yeah, it was the high-end boutique bit, but also they didn't want to make fun of themselves. And that was because they were claiming that they were changing the world through their activism and spreading information about polygamy. And so they couldn't make fun of anything. But it's gotten to the point now that we're all very well aware that the whole situation needs to be made fun of and that we were making fun of it all along. And they're capitalizing on that finally.
Finally. They didn't need to buy all that land. They could have just invested in a couple of silkscreen machines. Janelle looks back on those early Flagstaff days. The family had a vision, but Kody's enthusiasm for the greenhouses started to wane. This is because he already had a big, cushy house he shared with his favorite wife. Why build on the land when he already had everything he wanted?
Kody just sounds extremely lazy here.
We'll get to his enthusiasm for projects as we get to his segment.
Or lack thereof.
Christine congratulates her friend for acquiring this 165-acre property. She notes how much bigger it is than what she had back in Arizona. For now, the business isn't well defined. All Janelle knows is that the flower-filled land will be a gathering place and people will come.
Who would come? Her family?
I think customers, maybe it's a pick and cut your own flower sort of business.
We usually just get flowers from the grocery store.
But some people like that. It's like picking strawberries or picking pumpkins.
Oh, they can pretend that they're outdoorsy for social media. That actually sounds like a pretty good business. People are suckers for that.
Christine then asks what will become of Coyote Pass.
And the audience collectively groans.
For now, Janelle has hired a lawyer. This was necessary due to Kody obfuscating details of the property. What Janelle does know is that the entirety of it has been paid off.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, yay. No balloon payments.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, she is still waiting on Kody since his name is on every parcel. He is the one that gets to make ownership changes. She just hopes he will be fair in a timely manner.
Okay, that's the thing about Kody. Timely manner. That one, certainly not going to happen. Fair?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a coin flip. But timely manner, we all know that's not going to happen.
He even says it this episode where he goes, I'm stalling this because it's giving me pain or something.
I mean, I get it. I get it that it can be obnoxious to do something that you really don't give a rat's about. But he's got to man up and just do it because it is his responsibility. And so as much sympathy as I could possibly muster for this douchebag, these ladies, at least Janelle, really needs this money now. So get off your ass and do it, which I guess we see him taking steps this episode.
But I guess the ex-wives wanted him to do this months earlier. And he waited until almost the last minute. Speaking of property, Christine does say she and David have bought another house in Moab. It is a short-term rental, just another stream of income for the newlywed couple.
Another groan.
They divert the topic to the FLDS again, but this time in reference to their women not having autonomy over their own money. The point Christine and Janelle are trying to make is you need to do whatever it takes to support yourself. Which Tim and I have strong opinions on Airbnbs and their effect on the housing crisis, but I won't get into it because I don't want to deal with Christine fans.
The thing that I was really confused and a little irritated by was the reference of the FLDS.
When obviously they are AUB, you could make the argument that AUB and FLDS are the same because they share the same patriarchal ideology. But it's weird how they show the FLDS because they were clearly the worst of the two.
Yeah, they spent the first 4 seasons of this show trying to explain to us how they were not FLDS. And they show us a picture of the prairie dresses and the dumb hair.
They did that last episode.
Yeah, for the wedding too. I don't know why, because they've never associated themselves with the FLDS. And the only thing that I can think of is that they're trying to garner sympathy, despite the fact that that's not them and it never has been.
Yeah, I mean, Janelle, as we know from the book, owned her own house, had her own bank account. She said that during some sort of college debate, she would say, my money is separate from Kody's.
For me as a woman, I have a question. Do you have the financial wherewithal to take the money out to take care of your children if you had to escape from Kody, or does he have to give you permission?
And I make my own paycheck and I have my own bank account. I don't share with Kody.
So at least they had autonomy, but I guess they're trying to put themselves in the same group as the FLDS.
It seems disingenuous because they could have just said that women in their sect of Mormonism didn't always have the financial autonomy to leave polygamy. But they're muddying the waters by putting this FLDS stuff in. And I don't like it. They're trying to make me feel a specific way when they didn't need to do that. And now it just kind of feels a little manipulative.
Yeah, they are very vocal in the sect FLDS. They've never said AUB. At least I don't recall.
Maybe they just feel like they don't want to drag the AUB through the mud.
Yeah, even though they left it. But Janelle hasn't yet, so I can see why.
It was in a Janelle segment where she was talking about the FLDS, so maybe.
Anyways, we fast forward to David and Christine loading a moving truck with furniture. This furniture will, of course, be placed in the new house.
Oh, here we go. Moving footage. Oh, it's so nostalgic.
The producers ask her to compare the experience to Kody again. Kody bad, David good. Those are my notes. She's obviously being asked leading questions, so...
Yeah, the producers are terrible in this episode.
David basically gave Christine free rein as to what she could do with their money. So much to the point, David has not seen this house yet. It seems that Reagan, David's daughter, is already here. Mykelti and Tony are next to arrive, followed by Peyton. Peyton and Mykelti jest that they've only moved a couple of times in their life. This is obviously a lie since the Browns have moved dozens and dozens of times.
Yep.
Christine doesn't even count today as a move. It's a business opportunity.
She's really excited. She's given so much freedom to make these choices, and obviously David lets her make these decisions, but I kind of feel like when you've got all these wives that would have to agree with you you're in polygamy, the husband's never going to be able to just give you the freedom to make choices because he has to
placate a bunch of other wives.
Which that's not fun for anybody.
The newlyweds gather in their office. The excited woman proceeds to show David a bunch of hand-drawn pencil layouts. He compliments on how good they are. He references his own construction business, saying her floor plan is better than the ones he sees at work.
I've drawn my fair share of floor plans, and they weren't bad.
They had the little increments and stuff.
Yeah, they were not bad. Christine is legitimately probably kind of talented at that.
Peyton remarks on his mother's change in personality. He later amends that to say Christine is turning into the person she always was. The 25-year-old then lists some very false attributes about his father. Hayden thinks his dad likes to follow and stick to a plan, which, given the upcoming scene where Kody said there were a lot of failed business equipment just laying about on Coyote Pass, that is not accurate at all.
Maybe Kody likes to come up with a plan and then he either wants to stick to the plan or abandon the plan, but he never wants to change the plan midway. He's very stubborn, maybe.
Yeah, he's very inflexible. Kody is a starter, not a finisher.
Oof. God, no.
On the other hand, David is more laid back. He lets Christine tackle her own projects and will be there for a trust fall. I feel David has the luxury of being that sort of safety net for Christine because he is much wealthier and more savvy than Kody.
Is that the case? I have no idea how much money anybody in the show has.
I assume he is. Not all men will just let their wives buy a house sight unseen.
Yeah. Also, if he's in construction, he might know houses and stuff like that. He might have connections.
Maybe. In the background, you can see a Duratan action figure wearing what looks to be wedding-themed Mickey Mouse ears. As you know, Duratan is an orc from World of Warcraft and also Christine's fictional crush.
Do you think she has a physical type out of curiosity?
She has this fantasy character, like it's a statue she has in her house. And in fact, he's some character from a video game that they made into a movie.
Duratan is an orc, and that's really what I'm attracted to besides that.
Duratan?
The first time you meet him, well, he's a warrior, but he's looking at his wife with so much love and so much, and he would do anything for her. And I just want that kind of love, Suki. I just want that kind of love.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I made an animation of Duratan kicking Kody in the nuts.
Oh, the memories.
So it's great that she still loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Christine says she also loves this new title of being her own boss. They flash back to the trade expo in St. George when all the Browns tried to sell Robin's poorly designed jewelry. Robin started My Sister Wives Closet since she wanted an activity that would connect her to her sister wives. She seems to hint that it failed due to Kody's, Janelle's, and Christine's lack of enthusiasm.
I think you could look into that entire thing and you would see a lot of problems. I don't think that Robin had the talent for it. It could have succeeded. They just needed to get outside designers.
Mm-hmm.
They could fit the capital. They could hire the people. They could use their platform to advertise it. I think that could be very successful. I do think Kody, Janelle, and Christine's lack of enthusiasm did derail it a little bit, but also I don't think that Robin would be willing to give up that much creative control. It was probably everybody was responsible for that failed business, because even if Robin did have the full support of everybody, she was still the linchpin creating the crap product.
I think I recall an episode where they tried to get outside merchants, and Robin thought that that was tarnishing their brand. She thought that was the equivalent of selling out. She even had a hard time selling the jewelry in the brick and mortar store Gilt because she didn't like the name of the store.
The problem I have with that is that she needed to understand that at a certain level, unless you are independently wealthy as a creator, you need to sell out in order to stay afloat. There are different levels of selling out, obviously.
For anyone who doesn't know, Tim's job is that he has a business where he sculpts his own miniatures and then he sells the STL 3D print files for people to download. How are you selling out?
Because I don't really choose what I do most of the time. I do what sells. I do what people want. I do what people pay me to do. And sometimes that means doing things or designs that I'm not super
fond of.
Yeah, and you just kind of have to do it. If I only ever did the stuff I only ever wanted to do, then I don't know, it would not make enough money. So it would fail.
I wanted him to sculpt the Browns, and he said he didn't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that. I mean, it wouldn't be that tricky to do some Sister Wives action figures or something like that, but just, I don't know. I don't want to do it. That is me not selling out, okay? That's me being Robin here.
Okay. Selling out occurs on a spectrum.
Yeah, it's incremental. It's not whether or not you're selling out, it's how much you're selling out.
Okay. Kody says that polygamist ventures never work when the husband isn't spearheading it. This is because the alternative is one of a hierarchy where one wife is the boss of another. This will inevitably lead to conflict and eventually failure. I'm not sure if that's always the case. Women can be harmonious co-bosses. I just don't think the Browns had good chemistry.
I mean, maybe. It's hard just imagining that this would work, mostly because each of the wives want to feel like they're equal to everybody, but sometimes in a business structure, you need somebody to be able to tell somebody else what to do sometimes, and
they take offense to even small little instructions?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's a reason why family and businesses rarely work out super great anyway. I'm just thinking that the family already in a polygamist family has to focus on trying to keep everything equal all the time. I don't like the idea of the husband being the de facto leader, though, for obvious reasons. It might just be a family thing. I find it hard to believe that a group of people where none of them are allowed to be in charge can function. At some point, you need executive power kind of thing.
I mean, it would have helped if someone in power would have just told her that her drawings sucked. But Janelle kind of did that, though. She said that at least the heart designs were trite.
Yeah, but she wasn't in power. She didn't have the business position, the authority to say, hey, that's bad, we're not going in that direction. Which meant that they didn't change, which meant that they didn't adapt, and they failed, and the market murdered them.
Yeah. Speaking of Janelle, she says her most successful business was when she started on her own, which I think she's referring to her coaching business or Plexus.
Yeah, MLM stuff. Gross.
I think the first one is called Strive with Janelle. Again, health and wellness counseling.
It's almost like a parody, you know? Who on earth would go to Janelle for those things?
Same with Meri, with the worthy up.
I know. Who looks at these people and says, ah, yes, that's a person whose life is in order?
Oh boy, the lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Kody is upset Janelle is not sharing any of the profits she's made within these businesses. He thinks he's entitled to her money since he claims the family helped fund it. And I'm wondering which business he's referring to.
Well, I know with an MLM, you usually have to buy a whole bunch of supply initially.
Oh yeah, because you're a merchant, technically.
But if she paid that back, that's fine.
I was also thinking of the cameos. They are popular on that platform.
I mean, yeah, but what kind of upfront cost do you need for that?
Yeah, so I don't think Janelle should have given him any of her money.
It's not like Kody was buying a stake in her business or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kody, you gotta take the L on this one.
Mm-hmm. Christine and David then leave to meet some other business person concerning the Airbnb. I think Christine was looking into health permits and making the house more livable, which obviously would require David's construction skills.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for Christine.
Yep, no more Christine.
She has a bit of a talking head, but that's her main segment is over for today. Mm-hmm. We head on up to another sister wife's business in Parowan.
Another groan.
Jenn and Meri are going to sit on the front porch of Lizzie's and have a chat.
And that's everything for Meri this week. Now we're gonna... No, we've got more.
Her segment is quite lengthy, so bear with us. Before they chat, Meri introduces her new BFF, Zona, a shelter dog she fell in love with during her frequent visits to the shelter. She describes Zona as someone who needed her. This was Meri's Instagram description when she first adopted her new dog.
They say, love comes when you least expect it. Ask anyone I know, I wasn't going to get a dog. I traveled too much. There are a lot of responsibility. I had all the reasons to not get one. Visiting the shelters and playing with all the dogs and showering my love on them is what I love to do. So many dogs who need all the love. When I met her on Saturday, I knew she was special. I couldn't get her off my mind or out of my heart, so I went back on Sunday and brought her home with me. What a perfect way to spend New Year's Eve. So happy New Year to me and to my sweet Zona. We have each other to love.
I thought that was sweet. I think the last dog she had was Drake. That was a long time ago. And of course, she babysat Mosby, Leon's Chihuahua. So it's good Meri has a fur companion again.
Yeah.
Because Coyote Pass is one of the major plot points of this show, Jenn is naturally going to be Meri's go-to sounding board when discussing it.
I mean, it was either that or Meri talking to the dog.
Or Brandy, or Blair.
Or any other one of the people in her downline.
She has a lot of friends.
I was going to say sycophants.
I don't really see Christine, Janelle. Well, I guess they did during the Josephine's Attic X-anniversary.
They had a couple of fans, Redditors.
Well, apparently they were their daughter's classmates' moms.
But they did have Reddit talking points.
Yes, that was very prevalent. Meri voices her displeasure at how the estate is being handled. She's had to take earnest steps to protect her own interest. It has been at least a year since she spiritually divorced Kody, and she's frustrated about the lack of communication concerning the land's division. Nothing was being done about it, so Meri sent an email to him, Robin, and Janelle to start a conversation. Janelle responded and agreed to a meeting. Kody replied as well and tried to convince Meri he was already talking to all the right people.
Okay.
Meri makes it a point to say she is one of those right people, and yet she barely gets any straightforward answers from him. In his talking head, Kody claims he isn't trying to stall, he just doesn't know what to do. He's super busy, so it would be really great if these ex-wives can stop pestering him about this favor. Again, this relates to his previous sentiment where he believes any development on this property is an act of charity from him.
Well, I don't feel like doing you any favors, Janelle, but I know we have to pay it off. I'm not trying to stall. I'm just like, listen, these are ex-wives asking me to do a favor, and I'm tired, and I have a lot to do.
He is such an asshole.
I'm thinking it's not a favor if the outcome also benefits you, Kody.
I just think he doesn't want to do it because he's a lazy and they're saying, well, tell us what's happening, and he doesn't have anything to tell you because he hasn't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think he's going to say? Yes, it's the paperwork's been sent to this person. You're like, no! He just hasn't gotten off his ass and done it. He's the same lazy ass that he's always been.
Just like Robin, where I don't think she's being purposefully manipulative or Machiavellian.
Yeah, Machiavellian, ha ha ha.
Again, that's the great debate among the fandom. The porch conversation continues. Jenn voices that Meri has been an equal contributor to the family pot, so for her equity concerns to be brushed off is total bullshit. She supposedly mimics Kody. I'll let you know when this involves you. Christine is asked how she was able to avoid this financial entanglement with her ex. She says she didn't want to be tied to him in any way, shape, or form. This was made possible because her house was solely in her name. She kept its sale and subsequently quit-claimed her parcel of land to Kody and Robin.
And I think this was entirely possible because Christine was purposely getting an exit strategy. Mm-hmm. And so that's why Christine was able to cut clean.
And to add to that, Kody also played into her palm because he wanted his name off of Christine's house so that he could qualify for his big mansion with Robin.
He played himself.
Again, it's like you said in a previous recap, you activated my trap card. Jenn asks if Meri is good with the lawyer she recommended for her. Meri confirms that notion, but is feeling guilty about pulling the trigger. She explains the reason for this guilt. About a year ago, specifically in episode 9, Janelle notified Meri that it would be worth it to look into a lawyer in case the worst was to happen concerning Coyote Pass.
So a year has passed between this episode and that episode.
I think so. I'm actually not sure. Meri, I think, adopted Zona at the end of December, and I think Janelle and Meri had the conversation in Mary's house around the time Meri got released, which would have been October 2022.
Okay.
As we know, Meri rebuffed the suggestion due to wholly trusting Kody and Robin. It turns out Janelle was 100% right. Jen even rolls her eyes at the thought that Kody could be a gentleman in the end.
I'll be surprised if Kody screws them out of their money, but I'm not going to be surprised if Kody drags them along to eventually get there.
You thought when he was talking to Justin that he would be fair?
Maybe? I don't know. I feel like Cody's up in his own ass about being chivalrous and stuff like that.
I don't think so, because in the previous episode he said the only reason I'm even halfway decent is because of my wife. If I don't do these things, she'll lose respect for me or something.
I mean, yes. I don't know. We'll find out whether or not he tries to screw them over or not. I just don't feel like that's the best play if he's trying to be petty.
He is afraid of poverty, so who knows?
Who knows?
Meri tries to defend her thinking at the time. Kody was being his usual creative self where he would pull things out of his butt.
It's called bullshitting.
In other words, he would lull Meri into a false sense of security so she wouldn't take action against him. She thought if she didn't ruffle any feathers, maybe the dilly-dallying man would be reasonable. Jen shows her loyalty, saying she will be there for Meri. She counsels her friend to be more assertive in getting what she's owed. She says, don't mince words. Don't be gentle. Be a cactus. Get pokey. Meri concurs to this advice, saying she won't be walked over nor pushed around. I'm assuming she means she won't be a doormat anymore.
Yeah, from this point forwards.
Because she certainly has been that for at least a decade, as we've seen during the quilt cutting episode. She was serious about taking Kody up on his offer to be neglected for 20 years, and she didn't make it through the last 7. Jen goes on to say that despite the lack of communication, the only one who's been honest with Meri has been Janelle. She urges her to collaborate with her former sister wife if they are to get their share of the property. I liked what Jen was saying. Meri does put up a wall with family members, and Jen is very influential in getting her to take down some of those walls. Because when Meri goes into overprotective mode, it does negatively affect her.
Yeah, I can see that. Meri and Janelle have hated each other for 30 years. So maybe this is a common cause that can see them both put away their decades-long resentment and work together on something. That would be a feat in and of itself.
I hope so. They rally together against a common enemy. Meri brings up the time when Kody declared she was only getting 2 of the 14 acres. This was said during the breakup conversation.
This is just weird to me, that you two get 8 together, 4 and 4. Janelle gets 4, and I get 2.
Meri has 1 child, and I have 18 children. I wanted to keep the lot with the pond to be for the whole family.
It's just the same thing that's always been. I only have 1 child, and now but I'm not really a wife, you know what I mean? And so it's just this, you're less than. And that's not true. I'm just as important as anybody else. So yeah, I understand.
Kody's justification was because Meri didn't have as many children as the other wives. Meri expresses that this is unfair. This argument that Meri and Kody have, where Meri is owed just 2 acres because she has 1 kid, doesn't really hold up because if you recall, Christine also had 2 acres before the land was redrawn and before she left. Clearly, Christine had 6 kids. You can say they were both given 2 acres because Christine and Meri were the basement wives at the time.
See, this is the weird bit. I think it would be the most equitable if they just tracked how much money each person put into the land and used that as a fraction, and that's how much money you get from the sale.
Again, they'd need a forensic accountant. Yeah, you can put down a retainer for that.
That would make the most sense. Splitting it all up into different plots of land, was that something they needed to do to buy the land? Because it's a right pain in the ass trying to figure out who owns what in all of this. And I think what's going to come down to it is Meri and Janelle are going to want the money in, money out. Whereas Kody is probably going to go for where the names of the stupid lots are, which is dumb. But I think that if Kody screws them over, which he very well might, I think he's going to justify it in his own head by saying that it's according to the lots that their names are on, which he might think is not screwing them over. He might think that's being gentlemanly, but I think we can all agree that that is screwing them over.
I'm unsure. He does say in this episode he has paid in full for one entire lot. I don't know if he would be losing money if they sold the land, split it up by 4, and he would be making out like a bandit, or the other way around with the lots.
And the way that they separate all the lands, does that mean the one that he paid off for himself is Christine's?
I guess.
That's the only way that makes sense.
Anyways, Jen says Meri contributed to the family fund, which paid for a lot of the kids' colleges and cars. However, Leon's college and car was paid entirely by Meri. In season 6, we watched the adults talk about how they would pay for college and cars.
Well, I want to talk about finances. We've talked about that before, but when you have a big ticket item like college, how does that work? What it is that we have like a set amount that we have. With college coming into the mix, I don't have enough in my budget to pay for Aspen's college. Meri did have enough to pay for Mariah's college. So Meri pays for Mariah's college out of her budget. The family account pays for Aspen's college out of the family budget.
Right.
So there's 6 kind of accounts then. If you have 5 individual and then there's one top,
Yes.
yes.
There's a family account.
We have a family account and then the adults account.
And then everybody has their own
Yes.
account. And so basically it's like everybody gets their own budgets. And then on top of that, we have a family account, which actually has probably where we draw from for things like the kids' college or cars
or kids' special needs that the kids might have, medical needs, that kind of stuff.
But it's not like I would feel comfortable or right at all because I have the same budget as these ladies do, but I don't have the same amount of kids. I wouldn't feel right at all about drawing from the family budget for Mariah's tuition.
So Mariah's tuition is coming out of your individual budget?
The majority of it, not all.
Meri paid for Leon's entire tuition, which I will say should not have happened. The family fund should have covered some of Leon's expenses, and then Meri should have footed any of the overage. Unrelated to the episode, I'm not sure why Leon wanted to go to this school in Salt Lake, because their reasoning back then was so they could be near the AUB church and they'd be familiar with the community enough that when they'd get married, it would be a smoother transition.
I just was wondering if it means we can't afford Westminster. Are you willing to maybe go to somewhere local? Like, are you if that's your only option?
I'm not staying here.
Mariah, can you just explain to us why it's so important for you to go to Utah for college?
I can't stay here. I need to go to Utah. I need to be with church because even though what we have here is nice, sometimes I've been missing out for 2 years, and I can go back now, and so I need to, because when it's time for me to get married, I want to be in a place where there are people who want sisterwives like me, and I want a husband who wants to have multiple wives, and I'm not going to get that here. It's just time for me to move forward. I understand that this is like difficult, and I know it's like hard to come up with money and stuff, but like I've thought about it and I keep thinking of different ways and what I can do, and it's just I don't really see anything else.
Okay, that's fine. But if that was their reasoning, I'm curious as to why they didn't consider their other backups.
So I'm looking at Westminster mostly.
What's your backup?
Either the U or UVU.
Leon said they were comfortable going to U of U or Utah Valley. I googled it. Westminster is the most expensive college in Utah. Utah Valley is a sixth of Westminster's cost, and the U is $10,000 a year less than Westminster. Also add to that, Leon was attending Westminster whilst being an out-of-state resident, which would have racked up the cost even more. So I have no clue as to why they were so resolute about going there. You can tell me why. Maybe I'm missing something.
I think it's even more than that. Westminster is extremely progressive.
Yeah, I can't remember which brown kid said it, where they did allude to the fact that when Leon graduated from high school, they were pretty conservative. So much to the fact, again, as we know, they wanted to be a polygamist wife. As you said, Tim, Westminster is very well known for being one of the most progressive liberal arts focused colleges in the country.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense why that happened.
Because I know their major was a doctor, so medical field, but I feel the U would have
way better medical training? Yes.
Which, I'm not saying they don't have a good medical program. I obviously have not researched Westminster's medical programs.
University of Utah is one of, if not the biggest medical institution here in Salt Lake. Mm-hmm. That's where we go for medical stuff, is University of Utah, so I don't know. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the conversation. All I can say is it's unclear what the family fund is, because in a prior episode, all the parents established that the money would be distributed by household.
We all are working the same amount, and that's, I think, kind of where we've settled with these homes. We had an overall budget, and we just divided it by 4.
Granted, the division of money by 4 was in reference to the Vegas house construction budget. It's possible that the type of equity division also extended to the family fund, aka the shared money was divided equally in 4. I'm not sure why people are upset Meri is getting screwed, because if that is the system, where the family pot was divided by wife and not by child, Meri is technically getting more money than any of the other parents from the start. Now, you can argue that Meri shouldn't have to pay for those other children's college, since her TLC paycheck is hers, and it was the other women's fault for producing 5 or 6 children each. That is an argument I have seen. But if you recall, they established early on that that was how everyone would be taken care of.
The number one question that I am asked of all other questions is, how can you afford that size of family?
Tell Dad, you want to hug up.
It's really just a situation where we all just work together. Yeah.
It's I hate to say it's communal, but it's really very socialistic. We're all working together for the same cause. We all use our own talents, and everybody works together. Currently, Robin and Christine are staying at home, and my income covers them. Sometimes Janelle will throw in for groceries and stuff.
You know, Janelle and Kody make the bulk of the money. They just do. My job doesn't pay as much, and so I've got some of the smaller bills, and I just know to take care of that.
So Meri, Christine, and Robin kind of have their own bills, and then Kody and I coordinate getting the mortgage and the utilities paid, and then we all sort of work together as a family to pay the rest of it.
Financially, at least up until fairly recently, our families always kind of worked together and just put whatever funds that we had where they needed to go. When I sold my house in Vegas, I gave my money that I made from that house to Robin so that she could buy her house here in Flagstaff. You know, like, that's just what we've done. We've always worked together. And I have no problem with the fact that I'm renting still.
Because for the majority of this family's existence, there has always been a time when someone would give more than they would take, and that would switch to different people. In the book, Janelle would say she had a consistent job, and that Meri and Christine would sometimes flake on their jobs for whatever reason.
Often, Kody would take Meri with him when he worked out of state, which made me very resentful of her. I couldn't just take off from work as she seemed to be able to, but when Meri didn't work, she didn't get paid. I thought it was extremely flaky to blow off work for fun like that, especially when we were so broke. Some of the family clucked their tongues when they saw Kody and Meri drive off on Sunday night after dinner at the ranch, leaving me to go home alone to our house in Powell. Christine joined the family only a few months before Logan was born. She and I had our differences, but nothing serious. At first, Christine came across as something of a little princess. I was baffled by the fact that Christine didn't believe that she needed to work in order to contribute to the family. It's funny to say these things now because over the years, Christine has morphed into the cornerstone of our household stability and has worked tirelessly for everyone. Back then, however, she had little experience living apart from her parents and was clueless about many practical things. Initially, this grated on me.
Meri appears to be the one that is giving more currently. I think the person that was pretty much consistent in that they always took more than what they put in was...
Christine?
No.
Robin?
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea what you were going to say. Yeah, because Robin didn't have a job.
Mm-hmm. Meri says she had to pay for Leon's car with her own money, which in episode 2, Kody claimed that that was his sole job, to provide his kids with cars.
Janelle took care of her household. Christine took care of her household. Robin took care of her household. Meri took care of her household. Then I focused mostly on sort of getting the cars for the kids, basically had a fleet, insuring the cars for the kids.
So I'm not sure why Meri had to pay for Leon's car.
That sounds like an interesting story.
From what I recall, several of the children got GI Bills so that their education was funded through the military. I think Maddie supposedly got a full-ride scholarship to Utah State before she dropped out.
Who drops out when you have a full-ride scholarship?
Well, someone who really wanted to live with their new, how old was he, 26-year-old husband?
The elevator doctor?
Yes. So this must be in reference to Aspen and Logan and Robin's 3 eldest. What I'm trying to say is, Jenn is leaving out a bit of context because even Meri says that she doesn't know how much anyone got from the family pot. I have a theory that the family pot money was a shared savings account, but each wife had an individual bank account, and that was funded from their own side businesses. I don't know if Meri was required to also contribute to the family pot with money she's earned from Lizzie's or LuLaRoe.
Okay.
So that's my verdict. I don't know what to make of this because the show is unclear about the finances.
I don't know. How are we supposed to take any of this seriously when it doesn't seem like the show is taking it seriously? And yet somehow we're also supposed to just take Jenn at her word, or Kody. Oh God, take Kody at his word.
Again, Meri has said she herself is in kind of the dark in terms of the finances.
Wouldn't Janelle know?
She should know.
She's the accountant. She did all the taxes. If anyone knew, it would be her.
They didn't ask her about this particular subject.
Maybe she won't say.
Anyways, we spent too much time on this topic, so I'm gonna move on.
Please.
Meri is adamant that she doesn't want to cause a row. Jenn doesn't feel that way. She wants Meri to get angry. Jenn comments on her friend's former patriarchal religion that pressured her to keep sweet. Meri has to dispute that claim, saying Kody wasn't ever really patriarchal. In fact, she wanted that in a partner, for someone to take charge and to take care of her.
It's like, please, Jenn. 1, that's not what Kody was. And 2, that's what I wanted. So you're wrong 2 different ways.
When I married Kody, I totally looked at him as head of our family.
Do you still?
Yeah, I absolutely do.
So in a way, you do subscribe to patriarchy.
Yeah. But I'm a strong, independent woman and I can do whatever I want. Like, are you going to, support me in that as well?
But do those 2 fit in the same puzzle?
Maybe it's looking like they're not.
It was like the quilt cutting scene again, where Jenn was saying, I can't imagine you ever being bossy. And then Meri has to say, no, I'm not the most perfect individual. It's the same energy.
I don't think Jenn knows what the hell she's talking about.
Yes, again, this is part 3 of Jenn boosting Meri's
ego. Just, oh my gosh.
Okay.
How many of these little friends does Meri have to just boost her up all the time?
A lot. We've seen them this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Meri says she's not looking for alimony, but she hopes her share of Coyote Pass will be fair.
I agree. Give her damn money.
Jenn understands. Despite Meri's protest to not make waves, her friend says she will be that advocate in her stead. She goes, I'm a squeaky wheel. You're gonna get your grease, baby. Jenn then makes another dirty joke concerning lubricant, and this is where we segue to a discussion about Meri's dating life.
Sorry, when you said the word discussion, I thought you were going to say disgusting. God, Jenn.
This isn't the last joke she cracks. Jenn suggests Meri find dates at dog parks whilst wearing t-shirts to make her intentions known. She cracks another dirty joke saying, single ready to mingle, widowed ready to diddle or something.
I've never heard anyone use that word in a positive sense.
It doesn't even rhyme.
God, Jenn, you're stretching. You're overreaching, Jenn.
Meri relays that she has gone out a few times already. She doesn't enjoy the experience, likening dating to consecutive job interviews.
I mean, fair enough.
So, we've heard Christine's short list of what she wanted in a man. bald, has tattoos, drives his own motorcycle.
Wow.
Meri has her own preferences. She wants the guy to be taller and older than her. She wouldn't mind him being in the 60 to 65 age range. She pretends that Zona is giving her input because the dog shakes its head or barks. Kody, who apparently knows Meri, attests that she wants an alpha male in her life, but she can't have that due to being an alpha herself. In other words, she wants to be in charge. He doesn't think two people who are alphas go well together.
Kody must be watching Married at First Sight.
Yes.
All the damn power couples that hate each other.
They are a walking trash fire.
Oh my god, they're a disaster area wherever they go.
Meri has to correct this assumption, saying she doesn't want a control freak for a partner. She wants a partner for a partner, someone who will support all of her endeavors.
Meri's a control freak, so I don't think a control freak would work with Meri.
She has a plan, and unlike Kody, she does stick to it.
And sometimes those plans are about hating circles, or the color white, or, lots of stuff.
Was it white, or was it pink? Oh yeah, she wanted it to be wood, not white.
The way that she has those angry outbursts while she's interior decorating do not bode well for other discussions.
Kody then says something ridiculous. He says Meri will only be able to find love if she can leave all her mean girlfriends. If she wants to find a man, she's gonna have to ditch those because no man ain't gonna put up with that. Which, I find it funny that he has an issue with this gossiping group of women when he said, I put this in a clip last week, but I don't want to repeat it. In the season 18 one-on-ones, he was fantasizing about meeting David, and he said that's the thing guys do when they're all together. They complain about their wives, and obviously he doesn't want people complaining about him. I'm trying to liken Kody's behavior where he has a group of friends that trash talk the people in their lives, and Meri also has a group of friends that trash talk the people in her life.
I don't think Kody's in a great position to throw stones at this point because he's not sitting pretty where he is either.
Meri obviously won't ditch Jenn because, as we've seen, Jenn is loyal. Meri says Kody should understand this. It is the only trait he finds attractive.
The reason I'm not attracted is because she's not being loyal. It feels like because I feel betrayed.
Meri adds that she wants her new man to also be into outdoor stuff, is secure in himself, confident, and can, quote, handle her. She says the last three traits with a grimace on her face, implying that that is a tall order.
Okay, that's some self-awareness.
She doesn't want a control freak nor an alpha male, but she does want someone who has their own ambitions and is a go-getter. She basically wants, if we were to use the Enneagram test again, someone who's a type 1, someone who's principled, hardworking, and most times perfectionistic. Very similar to Meri.
Good luck.
She continues listing attributes. They need to be a dog lover, nice, and not a polygamist. For some reason, she has a difficult time saying that last one with a straight face. They had to redo that take a couple times because she was laughing at the double entendre of a single man, that he isn't taken, and that he is a monogamist. Change of scenery. We are back to Flagstaff to see what's going on with the actual root of the Brown family issues. It's a reference to the title. Kody is meeting up with a realtor to film some dialogue concerning the land. This long overdue meeting is because of Robin finally consenting to sell it off. Robin says that it took a while for her to get to this point because it was the last thing that connected the last remaining wives to her. It irritates her to no end that the family that was built up over 30 years has crumbled in the span of 2.
It had been crumbling for quite a while, for a bit longer than that. It was 2 years where it all collapsed.
Again, this goes back to her COVID conversations where she thinks that's what did the family in. She compares this fragmentation to a bomb explosion again. She does that a lot.
It's really hard to be optimistic when a bomb just went off and blew up pretty much all of your hopes. The collateral damage will last for generations. Once upon a time, there was trust and love and connection and a future. So yeah, it's just crazy how much it just went.
Justin the realtor drives up. He notes Kody's manic hair and energy. I thought that was a funny observation.
Also true. Kody is in rare form for all of this. It is really painful to watch.
Janelle has told us that Kody is like a leaky sieve, and that's what we're watching right now, where he's just leaking all over Justin.
God.
For some reason, Kody has to tell his life story to this man as to why he's choosing to sell Coyote Pass. Again, I'm not sure how much Justin is keen to listen to Kody's failed marriages, but okay.
The land must be pretty nice to put up with this.
The frizzy-haired man points to some things he'd have to clean up. There is still equipment that are remnants of the days when Janelle lived in an RV. He takes this time to inform Justin that living out of a trailer, especially with dogs, isn't good for your marriage.
I know you're trying to
make a friend.
Make a friend, but you're coming off super pathetic.
And don't blame the dogs for your marriage with Janelle going haywire.
He is venting all over this poor man.
The other equipment are leftovers of the businesses Kody started but had to scrap due to losing enthusiasm for them. And I already showed the clip last week where Kody is a self-proclaimed starter, but not really a finisher, so that tracks. Kody admits that he is being manic as he relays everything to Justin. There were a few moments when he wanted to sell all of the lots except for one. He rejects that intrusive thought, saying it's better to just get out of here.
You can really see how unorganized the thoughts are in Kody's head. He is all over the damn place. Seriously, I think this is the reason why he's been dragging his feet about all of this, is because he is still mixed up like crazy about all of this, and this land is symbolic of all of that. He says that Robin was the reason why he couldn't do any of this, but again, that's almost certainly just him
pushing blame onto Robin, which is something he does all the time.
Yeah, Kody is frantic here, and it is a strong indication that he is not doing so hot.
Speaking of frantic, we spend the next few minutes listening to Kody explain his reality of being a television star. He mentions that he is public, and that he only gets wind of something an ex said due to hearing it from the show, so Justin should probably email all these exes once he's come up with an offer. Kody still claims he doesn't have the money to buy Janelle out. This is coming from the man who has moved into an even bigger house last year, and as people are very well aware of, has a ton of assets in pricey prints, statues, and business equipment. So sell some of that, Kody.
Was that after they sold the Coyote Pass? Has it sold yet? Do we know if they still own the plot of land as of right now?
I have no idea. I know they paid it off. Now they're trying to see how to split it up. And obviously Janelle wants her equal share, and I don't think he's able to pay out that equal share yet.
Yeah, he'll have to sell it if he wants to buy Janelle out, but he doesn't have enough money to just buy Janelle's share.
Kody describes Meri and Janelle as relentless nags due to wanting their share of the equity. Remember the good old days when Kody would say he would buy another house or do anything in the event a wife left? This was in their first season 1 tell-all.
Yeah.
And now he's in that situation. That's how you know how fake this man was.
Yeah, he never thought it was going to happen. You can make big promises if you never think you're going to have to keep them.
He said that before in, was it season 17, where he said to Christine,
I've only said it a couple times. If you're not happy here, you can leave. I didn't expect that you're not happy here would mean you're going to leave.
That's such a shitty thing to say.
Meri says that Kody is so insecure, of course he would take any sign of communication as a nag, which is true. These people are co-owners. They have a right to know what's going on with their asset. They go over the parcels of land. Kody clarifies its lot sizes to Justin and his original intentions of building on it. Unfortunately, that dream has died due to everyone divorcing him. If he hit the jackpot, Kody could see himself keeping some of the acreage for he and Robin, but that won't happen anytime soon. He mentions the bad memories associated with Coyote Pass, so he probably wouldn't have done that even if he had the money.
He's so all over the place.
Justin proceeds to walk the span of the property to get a better idea of how much it should sell for. As they walk, Kody informs him he has paid for an entire lot with his own money. I guess he did that because of the looming deadline.
I thought that it was just the lot that Christine had given him.
I feel Christine should have given that lot to either Meri or Janelle. Once all of it is appraised, he is going to divide the entire thing up and distribute it to his wife, himself, and the exes. He asserts that he will be fair. Doubt it, but we'll see. We watch a funny talking head where Kody is very paranoid. He is convinced Janelle is going to screw him over. In fact, she thinks about it all the time. Janelle is totally the person who would come after him for child support or alimony. From what we've seen, Janelle hasn't done that. Kody, you are describing the wrong wife. I'm obviously referring to Christine, who sued him for child support.
It didn't make any sense. Janelle? Really?
And so what if Janelle did? You and Robin were very enthusiastic about those concepts a few seasons ago.
You honestly want to clean up the problems in polygamy? Yeah. You allow women who are plural wives to have a marriage license. Yep. I'll tell you what, that would be a threat to me. First of all, you'll have the man who is willing to shoulder that responsibility is going to take it seriously. And second of all,
that's a lot of alimony.
If that wife is getting abused and she leaves, she can clean the house.
Yep, that's a lot of child support too.
No. She thinks about screwing me over all the time. If Janelle could come after me over alimony and child support or anything, she'd do it. Oh yeah, she's got nothing but how could I him?
Again, Kody makes the biggest promises when he doesn't think he's going to have to keep them.
Meri says there was multiple times when she volunteered to help move things forward, but Kody kept ghosting her. I'm very annoyed that Kody is not communicating any information. That is so repulsive.
I think the reason that Kody isn't keeping these women up to date is because he hasn't done shit. You know? They're like, what's the process? Where it is in the thing? It's like, I haven't made the phone call yet. I'll call you when I make the phone call.
But he told them he was talking to all the right people, so he should have just summarized those events to them.
Yeah, I know, but I guess that's what he thought he was doing. Seriously, he should not be in charge of anything. He is just unmotivated. Ugh. This man needs a fire lit under him.
Kody continues trauma dumping to his realtor. We flash back to season 2 when the fam lived in the Lehigh triplex. Robin wanted this sort of living arrangement for herself. The closest she got to this was the Vegas cul-de-sac, but they moved to Flagstaff for stupid reasons, and the family culture completely disintegrated. The two men walk over to the drainage ditch, and Kody tells Justin the tale of when he went skinny dipping with his family. Which, Kody, you are not using that word right. He obviously just means regular swimming, because skinny dipping implies he also took off his underwear, which thank God he didn't, especially in the presence of his children.
Yeah.
Kody tends to do this a lot. He uses terms he doesn't fully grasp.
She's going around and she is the family's social lubricant. She's making the experience easy. I gotta tell you a story. This is only like the second or third, it's about the third time in my life I ever went skinny dipping, and it was with my family. So my good friend Brett and his wife Ava are coming into town from Hawaii. Just wanted to visit, go on a trip, and so they're gonna hook up with me. So me and Brett are gonna hook up with my other friend Sean, and we're gonna go out to do a guy's night out. In the meantime,
you can't say hook up. You cannot use hook up. Hook up does not mean what you think it means.
Sean and I are going to hook up.
You really hooked the audience.
Boys not out. Woo! Yeah.
Is that really? I mean,
it just stays in Vegas.
So hooking up.
Sex.
Yeah, it's like fourth base or whatever fourth base means
That's
all
just
the way.
nasty.
Yeah.
There you
That's a
go.
home run.
Home run, I mean home run.
Really? So
That's the current terminology.
oh,
That's
that's
what it
just
means.
awful.
Kelly Clarkson sings a song about it that's absolutely perfect. I do not hook up.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay.
So just
Start
we're gonna
over
meet
again.
up. Meet up.
Yeah. Okay.
Meet, hang out.
So my-
together.
okay.
Sorry.
Also, there's that most famous of gems, which is we need to take this to the nuts edge.
My advice is take it right to the nuts edge. Get somebody to buy it and buy it fast.
Oh boy.
Oh my God, this guy, he's like Tobias from Arrested Development.
Oh, no, I'm not in the group yet. No, I'm afraid I just blew myself. There's got to be a better way to say that.
I blew myself.
Kody certainly has a way with words. They showcase the dried up plague pond with the yipping and hollering sounds from the flashback playing in the background. Ugh, so sad.
It's so gross.
As we could tell from that clip, the water did have cow manure.
That's the best line. Don't drink it. That water's got cow manure in it.
Oh boy.
God damn it. What kind of father does that? Yeah, go in there, but don't drink it. There's probably cow in it, but you can bathe around in it, sure.
Because, as we know, Kody wanted to play with his kids in the mud.
Mud is not the same thing as cow
Kody is agitated. He knows he is delaying getting anything done. He sarcastically challenges any of his exes to do the paperwork if they are so impatient. And they literally can't, as Meri explains. His name is on all the property. He wanted his names on all of them, so he has the responsibility of being that steward.
You know what it makes me think of? It just occurred to me. It's like the episode of The Office where Michael is supposed to be signing off on stuff every week, but he puts it off. So one day at the end of every fiscal year, he has to sign like 500 things in a row. That's Kody here.
Yeah, in that episode, didn't Pam have to start signing his name for him to help him out?
Yeah, that's where Kody is. He's put off this for so long that he just has a mountain of paperwork that he doesn't want to deal with. And it's got dumbass energy.
Kody will call himself that very soon. The last few minutes of the Coyote Pass tour finishes with Kody emphasizing how beautiful the mountain view is again.
Yeah.
Baldylocks whinges about how much in a pathetic state his polygamist family left him in. He does his best nagging wife impression. He goes, "You owe me money. You owe me money. I'm calling a lawyer." Kody says he isn't trying to purposefully be obstinate or dumb. He's just actually dumb. For the second time, thank you for that accurate self-assessment, Kody. The episode ends with the dumb man flip-flopping on what he should do with Coyote Pass. This place was supposed to be their Shangri-La, but things have changed. End of episode.
Christine gives us a throwback in the form of moving footage to her new house that she intends to turn into a short-term rental in Moab. Meri and Jenn have another Meri and Jenn talking segment, this time with a dog, which is a huge improvement. Kody decides to try to make best friends with the realtor by sharing all of his deepest, darkest thoughts and feelings.
Thank you, Tim. All right, thank you for making it to the end, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Well, Cody's down to one wife, and he's feeling kinda blue. Lost 3 out of 4, didn't have a clue. Says it's all their fault, but we know the score. Ain't easy being Kody, no more wives at his door. Oh, Kody, Kody, what you get yourself into? 3 wives have left you, now you ain't got a clue. Pointing fingers everywhere, but it's clear to see feet.